Hi y'all, so I'm in the middle of packing for a trip to endless summer hydrangeas in Minnesota. But before I leave for that trip, the garden was looking so good. I was out here pulling little weeds yesterday, planting some plants yesterday, my final plants for a bit. And it was looking so good. There's so many things in bloom right now. I just wanted to take like a quick tour around the front garden space, especially to show you how things are doing, because a lot can progress in a few days when I'm gone, and I hope everything looks great when I come back and there's no damaging storms or anything. But I just wanted you to see what it looks like because I'm really excited about it. All right, we'll just start right here, shall we? Those of you who follow me on Instagram, and I also posted this on a YouTube short as well, so I'm trying to post those on here as I'm doing short form content. But I got a Golden Falls redbud planted. Gorgeous tree. I got it from Grandma's Gardens locally. It was the last one they had. And I was lucky I showed up and I was like, give it to me. It was a bigger root ball than I would have cared to have planted right now. But one of the benefits of planting a ball and burlap tree is when you have really heavy winds like we have here, there's something to anchor the plant, and you don't necessarily have to always strap it down to the ground to help it stay upright over the years. So I think it's going to be really beautiful. I tried to center it between these two flowerful hydrangeas here. They're a little wonky, but well, the wind's blowing right now, but these were planted as quartz a little less than 2 years ago. So they're still in their growing stage. They were nowhere close to 1 gallon when I planted them, but they are growing so quickly. And look how big those blooms are. The blooms here are much bigger than the ones in my hedge on the side of the house. So although I've kind of given the opinion that flowerful seems to have smaller blooms, I'm not sure that that's the case here when they get more sun. So they're probably a little smaller because I have more shade over on the other side of the property. But look at all the blooms. I did plant out here some treasure trove rudbeckia, which I'll talk about shortly, and I want to show you. And I put a sprinkler temporarily because I wasn't sure how much rain we were going to get this week, and I wanted it to be able to easily be watered if we weren't getting any in this entire space, because I have some rudbeckia where there's drip, some where there's not drip, because where I originally put drip in this bed, I didn't anticipate planting a whole lot of perennials there, and now I have, but they will be drought tolerant once established, so I'm not super concerned about them. There's a rose down here I want to show you before we move on. This one's one of the 𝗟𝗶𝗸𝗲. It's called Glowing Inspiration. It's gorgeous yellow to orange to pink. You know, like my favorite color there, but really healthy foliage too. Look at that foliage down there. Before we walk around the garden from this way is how I'm going to take you, I think. Just take a look at it right here. The little lime punch hydrangeas are going to open here soon. They have big blooms on them now that are not, or big buds that are not quite open. We still got some serendipity alliums opening, so I'd prefer a little more color right here. So maybe that's something I need to work on. There is a bloomerang lilac and some alliums, but missing a little color until those limelight or little lime punch come into bloom. So something I need to work on in this space. But as we come this way, there's enough color for everybody. And I think everything's looking so good. The opalescence phlox finally started blooming. We got some more phlox here. I think this one's called Pink Lightning. I kind of placed it kind of oddly and then stuck the storm cloud hydrangea or storm-proof hydrangea here. So that might have to be moved in the future, but for now it's okay until that grows up a little more. But I want to keep coming and showing you this view, because this is the view that I'm really loving so far. Look at all of this color. So pretty. The yarrow that I planted from bare root that I purchased from Walters in 2024 in spring is finally looking incredible this year. A little bit of flopping from the rain we have on the edges, but otherwise it's holding itself upright so well. And just looks incredible. So that variety is Peach Sky, and these sun-credible sunflowers, which I've also never grown before, are filling up. I'm so proud of them and how they're doing, because I planted them and gave them lots of space, having never grown them, and was kind of concerned about how well they would fill this space, and they've been planted about 5 to 6 weeks, and you can see how big they've gotten from a quart-sized container. Like, that is a testament to their genetics, looking so good. In front of them we have a little bit of the verbena. This is the Proven Winners variety, stays a little more compact, better branching, and looks really nice. And we have some other like unplugged white salvias, and then a new, I think this is a salvia too, I can go ahead and start talking about for 2027, I believe. It's called Outshine Orchid. It's not got a whole lot of blooms on it right now. It may need more fertilizer. I have not fertilized this bed at all this year, which is, you know, something I need to do. But it's performing so good. We've got some, I think these are called Coral Cream Drop phlox back here from First Edition Shrubs and Trees. That brand does have a few perennials, and they're mostly phloxes, and they're really beautiful phlox too. So this is Coral Cream Drop. You can see how crazy beautiful those make a pop of color in the landscape. Below me here yesterday, I just planted Treasure Trove Rudbeckia. And I want to point these out to you because I've never been a person to plant Rudbeckia in my garden. I'm not sure that I had Rudbeckia in my last garden. I certainly didn't have like gold sturm or the typical yellow, because the foliage on those Rudbeckia always looks so terrible. Well, these have been bred to be resistant to septoria, which is the disease that called that ugly, gross, black, diseased foliage on the older varieties of Rudbeckia. And it's been resistant and shown to be resistant in the landscape for over 6 years that they've been trialing it. So this has been a big release for Proven Winners and Walters Gardens. I think it was the landscaping industry, it had such a big ordeal around it when it was announced. They put off releasing it a year just so they could get numbers up to sell to the public. Because the demand is so high for this perennial right now. So I planted some right here. I'll show you it at the end of this video in the back of the landscape. It's not quite blooming yet here, but it is 3 times, maybe 4 times the size of these 1 gallons that I planted. And I just planted that Rudbeckia Treasure Trove in July last year. I took some home from Proven Winners booth at Cultivate, and blew me away in 1 year how big those have gotten. So lots of good luck looking stuff here. We'll continue around the side. Ooh, I see a new rose bloom. I can show you that I've not even seen myself yet. So this is another one from the 𝗟𝗶𝗸𝗲 collection from Heirloom Roses. Look how pretty this is. Which variety is this? Rose of Rosalie. So yeah, this is a 𝗟𝗶𝗸𝗲 collection rose here. It's not open quite yet, but look at that perfect like grocery store looking bloom there that you'd have from a perfect like dozen roses. That's gorgeous. I'm excited to see more blooms on that one. Let's look at the color this way too. I'm really excited the layering of the colors I've been able to accomplish in this garden. I think it's done an incredible job filling in. I do need to come through and cut back salvia probably, but they are still pumping out new buds, and I hate to like take that space out of the garden. You can see them right here. They need a refresh, but I might refresh them when I come back. I'm not quite sure yet. My goal this weekend was to get down as much more mulch as I could and pull some weeds. Still got some here and there I'll have to deal with when I get back. But otherwise looking good. I am missing the magnolia, so I don't know. I did cut back this magnolia. I posted it on Instagram. I believe I posted it on YouTube too, in a YouTube short. It had died, the top of it, so I cut it back to where there was new growth, and that's just kind of how it's gonna be. But it's putting on and growing really quickly. So I'm hoping it'll get some nice size on it this year, and maybe because it went through a rough winter, it'll be a little hardier going into this coming winter. But if I continue to have problems with it next year, I will consider removing it because it's just not worth it for me to have to deal with something like that. I need something here that's going to reliably be structure for me because it's needed here. There's structure and height here, and then there's structure and height here from this oak, kindred spirit oak, but it's missing a little bit here in the center. It's not a huge problem because I do have my heuchera river here that kind of carries your eye to the other side of the garden. But I'm missing a little height there for my taste. While we're here, let's turn the camera around and take a look at the Hydrangea trials garden. I did come and mulch this as well. I've been on a mulching frenzy because I'm supposed to have someone come take photos of the garden mid-July, and it kind of put me in a little bit of a panic because things were just going slower. So we have Summer Crush down here looking really good. Summer Crush has really bright pink blooms at a low pH soil, or if you don't have a presence of aluminum, ours is, a high pH soil, or if you don't have a presence of aluminum, we have high pH soil, so they are pink. We have Skyview next to it, which is covered up in buds here. Skyview's been really reliable for me in my garden. I'll show you another one as we continue to run the front garden space. I apologize at the wind. It is super windy because we've had some storms come through. But most of the hydrangeas in the hydrangea trials are doing okay. Some have way more buds and blooms than others, but that's what the purpose of this is. As long as they're getting buds back after the horrible winter where I had to cut them to the ground this winter, that's a good sign. My goal, of course, is to find the ones that will bloom the most and the best season after season. So I think this is Big Band. Yeah, this is Big Band. It's also got a pretty good number of buds on it. This one is Tough Stuff Top Fun. So I don't have any buds showing on it yet. This is Wee Bit Giddy. I'm kind of surprised. I never expected this one to be such a good rebloomer, but it's doing pretty good there, and it stays tiny. And this is one that should be doing a little better. Tiny Tough Stuff. Not any buds showing yet. This is Pop Star, which has buds on it and some blooms. This is the new one, Proven Winners release, that I think I'm going to add more of in the garden. Ask them to send me some more of. It's Hot Stepper is what it's called. It's supposed to be super productive, so I've talked about Let's Dance Can Do performing really well for me as we get into the summer. Hot Stepper is supposed to be even better, so we'll see how that performs. Can Do's right behind it. You can see how many buds Can Do has on it, and a little more shade. I'm surprised these are progressed further than the ones up there near my sidewalk, which usually got way more blooms on them by now. So I don't say this lightly, but the only ones in these hydrangea trials that have not performed for me have been Monrovia varieties. I planted 3 to 4 of their varieties. One of them's died over winter, and 3 of them have never bloomed in 2 years. So I don't know that the genetics are there for Ohio and the Midwest for the Monrovia varieties of reblooming hydrangeas. I would stick, if I was planting one, an Endless Summer variety or a Proven Winners variety, because they have been known to, Endless Summer is in Minnesota. That's their headquarters and where they trial a lot of their hydrangeas. Proven Winners is in Michigan. So we have much colder temperatures here in the Midwest to deal with, rather than, I don't know where Monrovia does their breeding for their Hydrangea macrophylla, but Monrovia is based out of California. And I'm sure they trial all over the country, but they have just not performed well for me in the Midwest. I'll of course keep you updated, but like this is a Monrovia variety. Lots of nice green foliage, not a single bud. This is one I must have misspoke that I thought had died. It started showing a little growth from the ground, but this has kind of been my experience with this one. It's called Fire Island. There's one over here. Maybe I only have 3 of them. This is it. Looks terrible. So you can kind of judge for yourself, but you get what I'm showing you. in the photos and the videos of these hydrangeas that have been planted approximately 23 months. They were planted end of July 2024. So that gives you an idea of how long they've been in the ground. It's only 2 winters. It's not a whole long, but if you're not seeing rebloom on something that's targeted and marketed as reblooming within a year or so, then you should probably chunk it and find a better variety. All right, we'll continue here. This bed's filling out well as well. Lots of color in this area. Some of my cone flowers are starting to come out down here at the bottom. I think these may be Everything's Rosy. They're a Proven Winners variety, so that's probably the case. And then some beautiful Weigela. This is the, I forget the name of this one. It's my favorite of the series, but I can't remember off the top of my head. It's called Something Sun. You'll find it on my plant library that I will show right here. I didn't get as many blooms off of my oak leaves this year because they were really damaged by winter. You can see there's a few on there. This is the first time I've seen actual dieback on oak leaves in my garden was this year. And so oak leaves bloom on old wood. And so if you have dieback or you trim them, you're cutting off the potential for blooms. And because they were damaged, that's essentially kind of the same thing as trimming them. And they didn't produce many buds except for those that were there last year on old wood. All right, this way, the Rising Sun Red Bud did have some damage on it as well from winter that I clipped out, and it's gotten really heavy, the leaves have, so it's done a little bit of weeping. I still think it's a gorgeous tree, but you can see maybe there's like a missing, it feels like something's missing here, and that's kind of because there is. I had to cut out a branch there. So it'll establish a new leader and continue to grow up, hopefully over this season and the next, but just something I had to deal with this year. I did not mulch this area. You may see lots of weeds. I still have a goal this season of putting down some stone to actually create a path here, but I didn't want to put down mulch and then just have to rake back that mulch. So there's a lot of washing that occurs here, so I need something out of our gutter when we have like a ton of rain. I have it diverted to here, which you can actually see. We had some flooding rain. It ejects out of there and then washes over the sidewalk here down the garden. But I need to put some stone there and maybe like some creeping thyme or something in the center of it to prevent erosion from wet rains like that, flooding rains. Things looking pretty good. I did come through and pull nutsedge out of here. Still got a little bit coming through since I did that. These false sunflowers, these are Raised for Days. Really love this variety. And this is the white-capped Stokesea, which blooms this time of year. I planted these, I think I got them last spring. And you can see how big they got in a season. Really beautiful flowers. Let's take a little close-up just so you can see what they look like. They'd be really pretty in arrangements. Really frilly. Here we have some hydrangeas as well. These are Summer Crush from Endless Summer. They got a little damage from our late freeze and frost, but they've come back and you can see they've got putting buds on them. So a little behind because of that late freeze frost, but coming up nicely. I'm hoping I planted them here with the intention of them to kind of fill this little space that's here. So I'm hoping they'll do that well. If you come over here to Sky View from Proven Winners, it looks incredible. So I think it might have a little bit with the heat reflection from the house and the sidewalk. It may not have died back completely over winter like some of the others, but this one performed very similar to me last year, just covered up with buds and blooms. So it's been a really reliable one for me in my garden. I wanted to show you this White Wedding panicle hydrangea from the Southern Living Plant Collection that I planted last year as part of that collaboration I did with redesigning this space. These abelias are doing really well too. So I think this was Suntastic Pink. Here it is right here. Yep, Suntastic Pink Abelia. They look kind of rough coming out of winter, but they've come along well. So these are the best performing abelias I've planted in the garden. I've removed all my other abelias because they just didn't return very well. It might help if you plant them in our area from a bigger root ball to begin with. All my other ones I've gotten as small containers, and so they've never really been able to get that root system developed quick enough. But everything from the Southern Living Plant Collection has performed pretty well in this space, especially the white wedding hydrangea. So I have to recommend that one. It's the earliest blooming one in my garden so far. That looks so good. We do have Quickfire Fab here too. That's also looking pretty good. Not quite as far bloomed out as white wedding. The thing is, this is the southern facing wall of the house, and so all of these plants are progressed further than they are elsewhere in my landscape. So they just perform really well here. This is Sapphire Surf Bluebeard, also from First Editions. It does so well here too. If you could have a hedge of these, that would be really beautiful too. I don't really have a space for a hedge of them, but it performs so good on the south side of the house. All right, let's go check out the Treasure Trove Rudbeckia. See how windy it is? All right, it's right here. See how big these plants are in just a year and how good the foliage looks? Crazy. Got tons of buds all over it, filled up. Not quite opening yet. Uh-oh. You know who. I'm gonna just take care of you. All right, crisis averted for those of you in the western states who don't have June bugs, as we call them, or we did in Alabama. I think they just call them Japanese beetles around here, but terrible, terrible creatures for roses and other things. Just eat them alive. So got to dispose of them when you see them. So I've clearly been spreading bad news about the flowerful. So you heard it here that the blooms seem to be just as big as Stormproof. It's really big here when they get enough sun. So all the ones that are getting a lot of sun are way bigger than the ones that are getting more part sun location. Look at the bee. So these are good for bees. Some of the varieties a little more than others, but here you can see these are the infertile florets, the ones that everybody loves, the big white, and then inside, move the camera down a little bit, you can see like here where there is the little florets that the bee is trying to get to here. Where's it at? Right there. Also, Hydrangea arborescens does smell. If you plant one of them, like I'm a little stuffy right now because I'm recovering from a cold, but if you plant one, you're unlikely to smell it so much. If you plant a hedge of them, they do really perfume the air, or they did at my last house. So this is flowerful in part sun conditions. So you can see those blooms are a little smaller, still pretty big. But those that have more sun have bigger blooms, it seems like. So placement is key. So if you can give them enough water, a full sun location, not all day sun, morning sun preferably, but at least 6 to 8 hours, you'll get bigger blooms on them. All right, y'all gonna be watching this video a little late because I'm shooting it, but I won't get to editing it until later in the week. But I wanted y'all to see this stuff before I go off, and hopefully these blooms are still in a good condition when I return. But thank y'all for joining me, and remember, be a light. Take care.